Hello friends, welcome to our channel SportsBizNet. My name is Prashant and I'm the founder of SportsBizNet. SportsBizNet is India's fastest growing sports network. So if you want to make a career in sports or if you're interested to do business in sports, then download our app SportsBizNet from Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get our videos up and fast. Friends, in this video, we have tried to answer the most important question in front of sports parents today in India, which is how can my kid go on to play at the highest possible level? Now, for that to understand, the parents need to understand the sports ecosystem setup in India, and that's what we have tried to explain in a very short video. So, friends, my request is to watch the video up to the end, and I'm sure you'll find your answers to a lot of questions that you possibly have. Now, what are the questions that the parents have today? The topmost question is how can my kid go on to represent India or play at the highest possible level? Who makes the sports policies? Because every sport is governed by some kind of policy. So, who makes those policies? Who promotes those policies? Who promotes sports in India? Whose responsibility is it to promote sports in India? How many entities make up the entire sports ecosystem? It's a very interesting ecosystem. We will come to that. How does an advanced level training happen? So, if you're kid is training at a grassroots level, where can you take him for the next advanced level training? How does the talent identification happen in India? Where do these entities get their funding from? And there are lots and lots of questions which parents have today. So we've tried to explain everything in just one single concise slide, answering all possible questions. In spite of that, if you have more questions, you are free to ask us in the comment section below in this particular video. So friends, before we go on to the next slide of explaining you the entire ecosystem, we just want you to make a note of these 9 entities which are the most important entities in India. There are entities besides this which are international entities, but with respect to India, these are 9 important entities for sports. The first is Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, which is a central government body. Uh, Reporting to Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports is the Sports Authority of India, SAI. Very important body. Indian Olympic Association, IOA. National Sports Federation, Olympic Sports. Then there are state sports authorities. Then there are district sports associations. Then there are private sports bodies. Then there are non-associated general bodies. Then there are national sports federation, non-Olympic bodies. So friends, these are 9 important bodies in India. Now some of these bodies they report on to each other, some of these bodies they report on to the international bodies. Like for example, ninth, if I can take the National Sports Federation non-Olympic. Cricket is a great example because cricket is a non-Olympic sport. So BCCI, which is the national body for cricket, they report on to ICC. That's how the reporting happens. But for sake of India, for sake of demographic of India, these are 9 important bodies. Now in the next slide we will see how these bodies function, how are they related to each other, and how do they control most of the ecosystem in India. So this is one slide, friends, which is the most important, which explains everything about the Indian sports ecosystem. Okay, what we've tried to do is we've tried to divide the entire ecosystem based on the functions, and then we've tried to explain which body can possibly perform that particular function. So you will have a fair idea of, if you're looking for something specific, then which are the bodies that you should look forward to getting your help from. Okay, first let's come to the governance. Now this is the most important aspect as to who does the governance part in India. Now the governance is only done by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, SAI, Indian Olympic Association, National Sports Federation, state sports authorities, or district DDAs or districts sports associations. So these are the only bodies who can put up specific governance related thing for sports in India. Okay, the private bodies do not have any authority to put up any governance structure in India. Now, second, let's come to the talent identification and training. Now, for talent identification and training, again, SAI Training Center, which is the most important center by the government for training of athletes, for training of coaches, for high performance training. Most of these training happen today at SAI training centers. There are 6 or 7 centers, and more are coming up. There are center of excellence which are coming up in India, and most of these bodies are governed by Sports Authority of India. So they are responsible mainly for talent identification and training. Besides that, the national sports federations also carry out certain functions of talent identifications and training. In fact, they carry out a lot of functions rather of national of talent identification and training. State sports authorities for representing at Khelo India games or for national games. So state sports authority also takes up certain measures for talent identification and training. District level also there are lots of initiatives being taken, and then there are profit and non-profit institutes who also indulge in talent training and talent identification. Football, for example, there are institutes like ISP and other who come and only spot talent for football, uh, for for making them play in leagues, etc., etc. So these are the bodies which are involved in talent identification training. As you can see, there are government bodies primarily, and there are private bodies as well. Events. Now, when you come to events, again, most of the events that happen at a very national level are generally done by the national sports federations. There are states also who do a good job in arranging and managing the events. Khel Mahakumbh, again in Gujarat, which is a good event happening, which happens at the state's sports authority level. Okay, so apart from the government bodies who indulge in events, there are private operators and there are private organizers also who indulge in the events part. In fact, the number of private events held for sports is much more than the government related or state government related events held. Infrastructure development. Now, infrastructure development in India, we can say that is 90% done by either the state government or the central government, and SAI is the one, again Sports Authority of India, is interested with the job of infrastructure development for sports in India. States also do some kind of work for infrastructure development, but as far as public private partnership is concerned, that's an open area, but there is no infrastructure development, big infrastructure development for sports that has happened through public private partnership. Manufacturing. Manufacturing is only done by private organizations for producing equipments, goods, training equipments, technology related apps, or whatever it is. They are all done by private organization. Again, retail stores for sports, they are all privately done. Marketing is again all done by private sector units. And finally, coming on to funding. Now, as far as funding is concerned, there are funds from the central government. The central government mainly gives funds to SAI. Some part of the funding is also shared with National Sports Federation, but national sports federations are supposed to organize funds for themselves, either from the Indian Olympic Association or from International Olympic Association, or having their own way of generating the funds. Most of the leagues that you see are done in coordination with the National Sports Federation. So the way a sports league happens is a private body goes and approaches a National Sports Federation, and then the National Sports Federation agrees, and that's how the league structure happens. So funding mostly comes from the central government. As far as national sport federations and other bodies are concerned, they are supposed to generate their own funds by holding more events and doing more coordination. Uh, as far as funding in India for sports is concerned, central government funds around 2000 crores, or roughly about 2500 crores per year for funding various activities. Most of these funds are diverted towards building up the infrastructure and training of athletes. And besides that, there are profit and non-profit entities also who help to raise the funds. So friends, this is one more thing that we would want to share with you is the green lines that you see, besides the box. We These are the lines where there is a bit of structure put around the whole thing, and whereas the lines in the boxes in red is where you don't have a proper structure. So if you take a retail sports good industry, now that does not have a proper structure, or that's a very unorganized or unstructured way of doing things. And this is because sports in India is still not an industry. So that's why there is no central body governing everything in sports, and that's why there are bits and pieces of people working in silos sometimes, or or in coordination sometimes with government, but these are again not very organized or structured. So friends, this is what India's sports ecosystem is all about, and hope it clarifies a lot of your doubts. And in case if you have more doubts, you can obviously post them in the comment section below. And we would request you to download our app SportsBizNet from Google Play Store. It's India's fastest growing community, and you can also ask our questions out there. So thanks friends for watching this video.